it's funny, on our first tour, Ed, our bass player, got us this. It was a 16-passenger Holiday Inn van that he got for $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought it up to. We were at Penn State at the time, and he brought it up, and we were getting ready to go on our first tour up into New England, and it was like January. I think it was like January, in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
But he hooked up this inverter, converter, whatever it was, and hooked up a PlayStation in the van. Which was awesome because that entire tour, that's all we played was Tony Hawk and listening to that soundtrack over and over. So it was the best. It was the best.
Welcome, everybody, to Casting for Two, the podcast, as always, hosted by me, yours truly. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 394. Hot intro going on right now, because this is a hot episode, special episode. If you're listening to this right now on the day of release, September 11th, it is currently my birthday right now, and I am currently in a 12-hour stream on twitch.tv/Mr. CMH 93. So come on by, hop in, join in, say hi, say happy birthday, or just watch me play video games with myself and some friends. And because this episode is coming out on my birthday, I really wanted episode number 394 to be a good one, to be a special one. And this is, a chat that not that I've been putting it off, but I've just been waiting for a really, really special moment to put it out. And that's what I'm doing right now. My guest today is Rich Carbone, who is in the band Fire in the Radio. And they have a new album out right now that came out in the beginning of the pandemic. And it's... when I say that this is probably one of my favorite albums of 2020, I'm not exaggerating. The album is called I'm getting choked up, Monuments, and it's a phenomenal album that just had me thinking about back when I was a kid in the early 2000s. And this album is very special to me. That's what I'm trying to say. So listen to the episode, pick up the album, please, because it's phenomenal, especially if you grew up in skate culture and all that. And but you know what? I'm done talking because we can get in this episode, all right? So everybody sit back, relax, and Rich, take it away.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, thanks. Doing well.
Of course. It's Casting too, FYI, sorry. I always just I'm Chris. You know who I am. I'm Chris. No. How's it going on the East Coast over there?
It's touch and go,
Yeah.
So with everything going on, it's been every day is like a new development, but overall everyone's managing and I think adjusting as best they could, and hopefully we are getting a little closer to flattening the curve and doing what happens here, and dealing with that. But otherwise, hopeful, looking forward to getting back to some normalcy.
Yeah, it's funny to think. Remember, 4 weeks ago when we were able to go outside and walk around and
Oh, great pastime.
Yeah, exactly. Remember the good old days. But,
Right.
I have a friend, my buddy. He lives in Philly too, and I'm always just kind of like, "How's it going, dude?" Just because I hear it's worse on the west or the east, well, east and west coast, but specifically more the east coast. So
Yeah, I mean it's bad all around. I mean,
yeah,
nationally, globally, what have you, and everyone's dealing with it in different ways, and different stressors that come along with you know with the pandemic in and of itself. But yeah, the between New York, northern Jersey, that's an epicenter. And now I'm in South Jersey, just outside Philly, and it's still there's a lot of cases out there. I mean, they're projecting up into the 500,000 cases, over the next month if things don't, in a worst case scenario, as far as like, if things don't improve, whatnot, and then on the best case, hopefully it's, they keep it under 100,000, which is still bad and terrible for any, families and friends involved with that. But we'll see, hopeful.
there we go. There we go. Is it, what's it been like putting out an album during during this whole fiasco, this whole mess?
Yeah, it's the timing is what it was. We had the date set, and everything leading up to it, and then in the couple of weeks leading up to it, that's when this entire pandemic picked up speed. And we were still, everything was still full steam ahead. But and you certainly we're certainly considerate of it. As far as from a personal standpoint, it's like, God, do you share this? Do you share that? Because is it undermining like kind of the greater concerns that are going on? But
right.
I think with what the direction and the purpose of what this record was all about and what it stood for, we resolved that this is going to mean something to people, and hopefully it does kind of serve as a a soundtrack and a measure of hope for them, that there's light on the other side of this. We are going to get through this, and be hopeful about that. And how anyone can be an agent of change and help things along the change for the better. So things went full steam ahead, and and we're adapting. I mean, you see that across the whole playing field of music today with, people going live stream and going on Instagram and, Facebook, YouTube, et cetera, and just kind of adjusting. And, that's been, that really picked up steam real quick. And, we're looking to, we've already started that, and we're going to try to continue that to, keep our presence out there and, keep in touch with everyone and being responsive and just keep that dialogue going. It's been super positive, across the board, even doing this with you and having this conversation. It's great. It's so, yeah, I mean, we're going to continue to do this. We're going to, I don't think we're going to resolve into the background. I think we're still going to be in front of this and, hope to be, I guess, a light to it all and, give people some kind of good distraction to the daily probably news that they see happening all the time.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It's funny because whenever I listen to this album, I have flashbacks of me and my friends, or my friends and I, biking around or playing Tony Hawk, just stuff like that, and it makes me smile.
That's great. It's funny. On our first tour, Ed, our bass player, got us this. It was a 16-passenger Holiday Inn van that he got for $1,000. Mm-hmm. And he brought it up to. We were at Penn State at the time, and he brought it up, and we were getting ready to go on our first tour up into New England, and it was like January. I think it was like January, the middle of winter. Yeah. But he hooked up this inverter, converter, whatever it was, and hooked up a PlayStation in the van. Which was awesome because that entire tour, that's all we played was Tony Hawk and listening to that soundtrack over and over. So it was the best. It was the best.
Man, I don't know. I miss early 2000s skating culture. Just because I guess I was a kid, more or less. Well, I still am, but still, just that. I don't know. There was there's a certain feel to it. And when I was listening to the album, I was like, why does this feel familiar to me? And that's when it hit me. I was like, oh man. I'm curious though, who are some of your influences?
So, I mean, they certainly being a musician and a fan of musicians, that in and of itself, that the tastes always evolve. Over time of like who you're listening to today. So I, kind of like working backwards, I guess, like in my kind of recent spin list that I've been, listening to is, there's this band called Daywave out of, I think they're out of Los Angeles. Really been digging a lot of what he's putting out. Turnover for sure, Hot Snakes, REM. I'm kind of branching into the rest of the gang here too as well. Because they're common interests of ours. I think that's what helped kind of cultivate what this record ended up sounding like, over our last couple efforts. But yeah, Daywave, Turnover, Hot Snakes for sure, Japan Droids, Jawbreaker, all those, The Cure, et cetera. I mean, all those of like kind of what you may, or at least what people have been commenting on in a number of reviews that they're hearing that, and that's great. I mean, because that's, really who does influence us. But yeah, those are some big ones. The first two records I ever bought, though, was Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction and Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA. Those were the first two records. The first two records I bought. So that's definitely served as I think the foundation of what was to come. So it was great. Oh, and U2. Actually, I got U2 as well. Joshua Tree. Those were the first three.
Okay. You know what? A good mix of genres around there.
Oh yeah, and I think a very big common staple amongst all of us, particularly me, and I know the rest of the guys, is Fugazi. Fugazi is a huge influence to us as well. A lot from the DC scene down there. Yeah. You can't get enough of it.
Nice. And so, you were talking about it earlier on what the album meant, but at the time of writing and coming up with the album, what were some of the things that you wanted to tell on this album versus the last album, or I guess something you wanted to do differently?
Well, the last New Air, when we wrote New Air, it was a darker record, and it wasn't dark from the intention of being dark. It kind of just organically evolved that way between John and I, kind of during the writing process, and then certainly with Adam and Ed playing into it, because it's a very collaborative writing process amongst all of us. We kind of share the tracks even from their bare bones or just a sketch of an idea, and people weigh in, and that constructive criticism is there that I think works really well with us, and that's what kind of makes these songs very original, because it's not like, I came in with 95% of the song, and this is a song, and this is how we're going to play it. It very rarely ever works that way, that something is as, thought out or perfected. But with Monuments, things took a change, that there was a lot of things going on in the world, and then also personally in our lives, that it turned out to be optimistic and hopeful, that people could serve as their own monuments, to help change for the better. And everything kind of took that way, that, there is hope, there is optimism, there are things that can be better, and that you can do that, personally, and even personally affecting those around you to help, make things better for themselves where they want to, or wherever the challenge is. So it kind of took that vibe to it. And, even with the, lyrically in the writing process, how we kind of even share to that extent as well, the ideas that we're getting across, that it just kind of affected all of us collectively, and it kind of went that way and evolved that way. But you know what? Jesse Gaither, who produced the record, he's like our fifth member. He's been a big part of this, from like a year prior to the recording, because we were sending him all our demos, for almost a year of ideas and how we could rearrange things, and et cetera, and what wasn't working. We're going to kind of leave that in the bin, and let's move on to something else. And it worked, and here we are. These 11 songs is the the product of that. So it has been even from the process standpoint, a very positive and hopeful process because we were working all towards that, and we had Jesse in our corner championing that, and kind of orchestrating what that was ultimately going to be. So it's been great.
Is there one song on the album that you personally tend to gravitate more towards? Whether it's like, oh, I want to listen to this, or I want to play this. I can't wait to play this in front of people.
I mean, we're excited to play all of them, obviously.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure you expected that answer.
Yeah.
But, so John and I obviously sharing the vocals with the songs that we have on there. So that, I'm always going to have a favorite of what John does, and I'm going to have a favorite I think that I gravitate towards, that I enjoy doing. So starting, I think, with the songs overall, like, that John sings, I originally would have said Tulare, which was our single, one of the singles we put out. That was always a fun song to play, but I think secretly, like, at the end of the day, I think my favorite on there, to play live, we've done it once, but I'm looking forward to doing it, many more times over, is the song I Said. That song is a great song, it's well written, and it's super fun to play. From my end, probably it's Save Me. Save Me was probably the first song I wrote for this record, and it stood. It kind of went through its trials, and it's still there basically in its original intention. And that song means a lot. Playing that, it's fun. So yeah, those two. I'd say I Said and Save Me.
Okay. And I'm curious. As
How about you?
Me?
How about you?
So I'm a huge fan of songs that just start everything. So I'm usually a track one kind of guy. But I do think from Let's Get It to the Start, I feel like it just all flows pretty well to the point where I don't really know where track 6 ends and 7, that's just my thing, because I'm not a singles guy. I'll listen to the entire album in one sitting, or one shot, one day, whatever.
Right.
And so but like I said, like the entire album I really enjoyed, but the first track is the one that I was just like, holy crap, I need to talk to these guys quick.
That's great. Yeah, so let's get to the start. That was, I think that was the first song written for the record. Like the first song, that was an idea that John had pretty well thought out, that he sent out to us, and I think that kind of started, what would be the full process of writing this record. I think that might have been the first idea that kind of came through as well. Save Me was mine. I think from John's end, the first song out of the gate was that one. In fact, it was going to be called Monuments. But then we decided against having like a title track, on the record. So that's why we kind of changed the title to Let's Get to the Start. But yeah, that's a great song. Very, very close. Very fun song to play. A lot of different parts too, which is fun.
Nice. And I'm curious. I can't write a song to save my life, and you and I don't know. No, probably not. It wouldn't be good. It's not something I would be proud of per se.
But it'll be yours.
yeah, but
right?
yeah, all right. No, but what is your writing process like?
Mine is usually lately the acoustic in the bedroom type of thing. At least where the ideas will come, because or if downstairs, wherever I would leave the kind of guitar line around that, pick it up and just kind of start jamming something out. In most cases, it's funny. I was having this conversation with John maybe about a year ago, and when I had more time on my hands, I was always writing lyrics or whatever. Kept the notebook, that kind of guy, and what have you. And then usually I'd work songs from those lyrics or poems, whatever. Now it's a little different. Now it's like I'm writing the music first. And what has happened even on the last couple of records is like the music would come first, and then and there might be an intention or an idea behind it, or something that you think, oh, I want to maybe attack this or write about this, but those songs will start out that way. Musically, at least from my end on the acoustic, as an idea, or maybe there is a verse and chorus, or the hook is already there. And and then start filling in the lyrics from there, kind of telling the story from there, what works melodically and what have you. But it's funny, like over the years, my process flipped. It used to be lyrics first and then the song. Now it's song first and then the lyrics.
Gotcha. Okay. And, since this whole fiasco's happening, do you find your creative juices have been, even more amplified, or just kind of...
something happens. When the four of us get into a room and play, even it's just a jam. Something always happens. It's like lightning in a bottle that we're always chasing, and that we try to capture, and that always kept, I think, the motor running, like with all of us. And we're just going to do this till the wheels fall off. It hasn't stopped. We keep doing what we do. We're having fun doing it. The songs are being well received. We love them. We're happy with them. So, that kind of keeps my engine running with all of this. It's something I've always enjoyed doing, but I particularly love, doing it with these guys. It just works. There's good chemistry there. That is, hard to find,
No, man, chemistry is everything. But I'm wondering, as a person who's been, writing music, do you ever look back at something that you wrote and you're just like, man, I don't know who that guy was, or you know what, me, now that I'm older, know what I'm doing, let me try to improve this. Have you ever had one of those moments?
I think constantly we're trying to, personally, I think constantly I'm trying to do something different, particularly now. Maybe I'm moving forward from this record. We tried things differently on here. There's keyboards now on this record. There's different types of percussion. Adam and Ed, I have to give them props. They hold down, the rhythm very well and do some very interesting things that kind of keep these songs fresh. But yeah, I certainly look back and look at the more simplistic things that I've done and what we've done as a band. And, I think next time around, definitely want to kind of, challenge that all over again. And we try to, we challenge each other. We had over 24 demos for this record. Ooh. That got culled down to 11. So, there were a lot of different ideas, kind of spinning out there. But yeah, certainly looking back, be like, oh my God, what the hell was that? Or what was I doing there? But it happens. Yeah. But you're your own worst critic anyway.
Yeah. My buddies and I were in a band that was slow metal, like rock, I don't know. It was one of those things where they needed a drummer, and I happened to play drums, so I had to adopt that. But I just remember the music coming out. I was just like, this is just not me. But okay, whatever. But yeah, no, I'm those are gone though. They're disappeared. They don't exist. I'm just kidding. I have them all. That's fine. But I'm curious, I love talking with musicians, and I'm curious, we've been talking for a while, and but I'm curious, what does music mean to you?
Music means, well, it's my, it's a lifeline to me. It's my sense of escape, my sense of letting go of things, processing, actually, even as well. I love the creative side of it. Being able to kind of, it could be cathartic. I guess in a lot of these probably sayings and things are probably such cliches, but it's the truth. I'm not going to shy away from that. But definitely cathartic, definitely a release, and something I really enjoy putting out. But the bigger reward to it is which has evolved over the last 4 or 5 years. With the records we've been putting out, is that people are enjoying it. That's been great. Even if we reach one person who is listening to this and really enjoying it, because we've gotten over the last few months tons of messages and texts and what have you, just from different people all over who've been really enjoying it, and that's been helping them, in the same way music helped us, over the years. It's been great. So, yeah, it definitely it means a lot to me. It's something that I don't think I'll stop doing.
Nice. And do you feel that, performing music, writing music, all that has enhanced other aspects of your life outside of music? Other creative endeavors or anything like that?
We. I don't know. Well, has it done that? I don't know. It feels like this is everything. This is what we do. It takes sacrifice. A lot of us are family guys, and we're all dads with children and whatnot, and so there definitely is like a sacrifice there. With pulling away from things to put the time and energy into this. But it's definitely rewarding because it's great seeing even the family at home like hearing this and really enjoying it. So I just keep doing it.
There you go. And for the people at home who want to pick up the album or just keep up with anything that you guys are doing online, where can they do all that?
Oh, they can go to our Facebook page for sure. I think it's facebook.com/ByronRadio for sure. They can check out our Bandcamp page. There's a lot of new vinyl and T-shirts and bundles they could definitely take a look at. And of course, just digitally, easily in and of itself, just heading over to Spotify or Apple Music, they could easily find all of our stuff. It's all out there. What we do have though, that I'd encourage people to go check out is we have this thing called Byron Radio's Friendship Society. So you sign up with your email address, you get access to the songs and any merch, T-shirts and all the fun stuff. If anyone's interested in checking that out, but there's also access to early demos, some unreleased stuff, an early record that we did way back in the day that you won't find on Spotify and whatnot. So there's some kind of good incentives to kind of dig in a bit and, become our friend. So I encourage people to check that out as well.
Nice. Rich, thank you so much for chatting with me and taking time out of your day. I really appreciate it.
Likewise. Had a great time. Thanks so much, man. Take it easy.
Thank you, and stay safe and healthy, all right?
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.